Um, Take Back the Night is this really awesome rally that you get to sit back and just like listen to people talk, like listen to survivors. You can take part in a bike or a march, and it's a really great way to come to terms with the fact that you know somebody who's been sexually assaulted and then honor them.
So I first attended Bike Back the Night, or Take Back the Night, in 2008, I believe. And it was my first experience with Take Back the Night, and I was really moved by the whole experience. I had a family member who'd experienced sexual violence, and so it was really a topic of interest into me as to what we could do to end sexual violence in our community.
And we really wanted to find a way to make it accessible for people who maybe this issue is close to home, maybe it's something that has affected them personally or a loved one. We wanted to make them feel like it was inclusive and that they could be a part of this too, because we really want this to be an event for the community to find a space to heal, to spread a message that we won't tolerate sexual and domestic violence, and also a place for healing for people to have their voice be heard.
There's something irreplaceable about being able to scream at the top of my lungs that I will not stand for sexual violence in my community, surrounded by other people who support me, holding signs and yelling, and we're stopping traffic and people are coming out of buildings, and it's sort of this like, yes, you have to listen, you need to pay attention, this is why we're here, this matters, and that's so awesome. It's so empowering and enlivening.
I just feel like people aren't comfortable talking about it, and they don't know how. It's almost like they don't know how to even have the conversation.
These things are great, but if all we ever do is sit at home and talk about it, nobody's ever going to know we're talking about it. So the best way to bring awareness to the community is being out in the community.
Do you feel like by participating you made a difference?
I think, yeah. I mean, I think just being there and being an ally with those people and standing with those people is what makes the difference.
I was overwhelmed by how many people it had affected. I knew within my circle and my own life a lot of people who were affected by this issue. Again, people from all different backgrounds and all different gender identities.
You know, it's going to sound trite, but there's still a lot of silence around who gets sexually assaulted, either in childhood or adulthood, and what that looks like and how that happens, right? There's so many stereotypes about who that's happening to and where it happens.
People don't realize that they're not processing it, that it's something that happens to people that are, that they're related to or have a class with or even are friends with.
You know, there's so much going on, especially here in Portland, stuff that we don't know about on campus. There's just so much that we don't know about, and it happens, sexual assault and violence happens to everyone, and it's a lot closer to home than a lot of people think.
And being in an environment and a space where you see all of those people and you see them having the courage to verbalize what happened to them as part of their healing process, that's where the community comes in, because whether or not you yourself have been personally affected by it, I guarantee you know someone who has, and being in a space where you are it's impossible to ignore.
I don't know. I just feel like people aren't comfortable talking about it, and they don't know how. It's almost like they don't know how to even have the conversation.
It's a complicated emotion. It's because it goes beyond empowerment. It goes into almost like reclaiming something that's been lost.
I feel like Take Back the Night and Bike Back the Night provides a very accessible forum for that conversation to be had, and I think having the conversation itself is what's important, and then being accountable.
These things are great, but if all we ever do is sit at home and talk about it,